Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about perspective in terms of color, creating perspective with color. There's a lot of different ways to create perspective. I'm just going to focus on just color today. So I got my canvas here. I'm just going to throw in a horizon line. And I'm not going to be painting like a full landscape. I'm just going to be doing just some demonstration with some bushes here and pushing them into the distance using the color. Alright, so I got a horizon line there. And just going to put in my first bush. I'm just using some Cad Red here to draw this in. Let's say we got our first big bush in the foreground. Let's just create got our first bush right there. Now let's just say this is going to be like one of those green kind of desert bushes. Alright, so I want to lay in the dark on this real quick. So I'm going to get some of my ultramarine blue, throw a little bit of Cad yellow, and I want this to be dark, and since it's in the foreground, this is going to be the bush that has the most yellow and the most red, not the most red, but most yellow in it. Let's focus on the yellow, because as you step further back, the first color to drop out in the atmosphere is yellow, and then red, and you're left with the blue. So I'm going to create a pretty warm green here. We're going to do this in the shadow and the light side. Now we're going to do the shadow sides for all the bushes, and then go back and do the sunlit side of the bushes. So I'm going to put our next bush in here. So for the sake of the exercise, going to put it perfectly overlapping. It's going to be a little smaller in the distance. Let's change the shape up there. Something like that. And I'm just going to do our third bush. So I have the paint out. Back there. Alright, so as you step back, like I said, you're going to take out some yellow. So I got my paint here from my darkest, from my shadow side of my first bush here. So I'm just going to branch off from it and add a little more blue and a little more white and then a little more of the red. A little bit of yellow, but and I'm just using the cooler red, which is the crimson here. Actually, maybe a touch more white. And this is going to vary, you know, depending on how much atmosphere. Like if you're in a place that has like a lot of pollution, or fog, or mist, or you know whatever's going on, can increase the effects that we're doing here. Just gonna lay that in. Now, I'm going to go one more step further. A little more blue. Touch of the red. And you know what? I'm just going to do one more, because by the end, a lot of the times you're left with just straight blue. You've knocked out the yellow and the red. You're pretty much just left with this ultramarine blue. So you got a little itty bitty bush down there. Alright. So now let's go back in the highlight sides of this. And also, I'm just keeping this really simple. I'm probably not going to get too detailed and actually like painting these bushes, you know, as detailed I would if I was actually doing a painting. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so, you know, I got the little gradient going down here. Alright, so we're going back to here with our light. So back to the yellow here. Going to create a green that's going to be in the sunlit side. So this is the side that's hitting it.
Touch a bit of red. Saturate the screen a little bit. So make a good amount of it.
Because I want this to sit in the foreground, so it's going to be the warmest. Always look for, like in the foreground, there's going to be a lot more reds and yellows in the foreground, so whenever you're painting a landscape, keep an eye out for those and identifying those and, you know, bringing them forward. And it's just a good thing to utilize to create depth. See how that's looking. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Just going to take this, and what are we going to do? We're going to add a little more blue, a little more red, and some white. Don't forget the white, but don't overdo the white. Because you can see, actually, touch a little more blue into there. I'll put a little stroke up here, yeah. You can see that's a lot cooler than the, this is going to be a lot cooler than this highlight right here. So it's going to push it back. Don't forget the red. Now we're going to do it again. A little more blue. Touch of the red. Probably a little yellow in there. And you can also see as we're going, the difference between the light side, you know, the shadow and the highlight side the difference is getting less as we go back. So, you know, this and this is a lot further apart than, you know, this shadow side and this highlight side. This shadow side and this highlight side is going to be a lot closer together than this one. Now we're going all the way to the back. It's be pretty much just blue and white. A touch of red. And you know, you can always adjust these as you go. Like if you think that you want to push a certain area back more, like say if you wanted to push this a little further back, you can always, you know how to push it back now is, you know, it's add a little more blue, maybe a little more white. So I'm going to kind of go in there and push this back a little bit more. And this is just a great skill to have to kind of change things when you want the landscape, you know, what you're looking at isn't exactly what you want and you want to push something further back, you know, feel free to push it back. You know how to do that now. Or say if you wanted to emphasize this bush, like, oh, I really want people to focus on this, I really want to push this forward and make it prominent. The way to push that forward would, you know, one be adding the warm colors and you know, the saturation and all of that, bring it forward, but also another way is to push everything back. So think about that when you're trying to do something. It's not always something you need to do to the object that you want to enhance. It might be a matter of de-emphasizing the other objects within the painting. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. I also offer you this video and this video. Please choose one. They're both good.